श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम्।
ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। नमोऽस्तु ते व्यास विशाल बुद्धे पुल्लारविन्दायत पत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारत तैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयः प्रदीपः प्रपन्न पारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्सः सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। भीष्मद्रोणतथा जयद्रथजला गान्धारनीलोत्पला शल्यग्राहवती कृपेण वहनी कर्णेन वेलाकुला। अश्वत्थाम विकर्ण घोर मकरा दुर्योधनावर्तिनी सोत्तीर्णा खलु पाण्डवैरणनदिः कैवर्तकः केशवः। पाराशर्यवचः सरोजममलं गीतार्थगन्धोत्कटं नानाख्यानककेसरं हरिकथा सम्बोधनाबोधितम्। लोके सज्जन षट्पदैर्हरः पेपीयमानं मुदा भूयाद् भारत पंकजं कलिमलः प्रध्वंसिन श्रेयसे। मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्र रुद्रमरुतस्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगा। ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यस्यान्तं न विदुः सुरासुरगणा देवाय तस्मै नमः।
श्री परमात्मने नमः। Veena ji, are you, if you are verses 14 to 18, if you can chant chapter 10.
Yes, sir. Verse number 14. सर्वमेतदृतं मन्ये यन्मां वदसि केशव न हि ते भगवन् व्यक्तिं विदुर्देवानव दानवाः। स्वयमेवात्मनात्मानं वेत्तं त्वं पुरुषोत्तमा भूतभावन भूतेश देवदेव जगत्पते। वक्तुमर्हस्य शेषेण दिव्या ह्यात्मविभूतयः याभिर्विभूतिभिर्लोकानि इमां त्वं व्याप्य तिष्ठति। कथं विद्यामहं योगिन् त्वां सदा परिचिन्तयन् केषु केषु च भावेषु चिन्त्योऽसि भगवन्मया। विस्तरेणात्मनो योगं विभूतिं च जनार्दन भूय कथय तृप्तिर्हि शृण्वतो नास्ति मे मृतम्।
So then from here, see, Arjuna is very clear now. I don't understand you because I am not in a position to be able to understand you. And only Brahman can know Brahman. See, even when we do Shiva Puja, there is a process called Mahanyasa. In the Mahanyasa, the embodiments of Shiva in all his forms, they are established in the body. Right? So we put these devas in our body, devas which are manifestations of Shiva in our body, and only once we have become Shiva, we do Shiva worship. So it says that only Shiva can worship Shiva. So from a standpoint of a person who is a body, mind, intellect identified person, I have no understanding of how glorious you are. I understand you are glorious. I understand that you are great. I understand that you are amazing. But what is the extent? How can I understand your glories? And I can't describe you. I can't describe you. So it is said in the Guru Gita, it is said that if all the trees in this world are made into pens, this entire earth is made into paper, material to write on, and all the oceans are translated into ink, even then that will fall short in describing the glories of the Guru. Now what is Guru? Guru is nothing but Parabrahman. Right? We say that every day in the shloka. Guru Reva Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So same thing here. How am I going to be? I am so limited in my limitation. I want to understand you, but I cannot. So please, you yourself only describe yourself. I cannot sit down and describe you. So then Krishna starts. So Krishna starts with verse number 19. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Antate Kathayishyami Divyayatma Vibhutayah Antate Kathayishyami Divyayatma Vibhutayah Pradhanyatah Kuru Sreshta Nastyanto Vistarasya me Pradhanyatah Kuru Sreshta Nastyanto Vistarasya me. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Antate Kathayishyami Divyayatma Vibhutayah Pradhanyatah Kuru Sreshta Nasyanto Vistarasya me. So he says, Anta, okay, agreed. I agree to you. Te, to you. Kathayishyami, I shall tell. I shall tell you. Katha means to be able to say, which is from where the word katha comes, right? Satyanarayan katha, Santoshi Makarat katha. The katha means to be able to tell something that is told, and therefore story. So, Antate kathayishyami, divya, divine, hyatma vibhutayah, he, atma, certainly, atma, mind, vibhutihi, the glories. Pradhanyatah, I will describe only the main ones. Pradhanyatah, main ones, right? The salient ones, the most important ones. Pradhanyatah, Kuru Sreshta, the best of the Kurus, Arjuna. Nastyanto na asti antaha. Harikatha ananta. Ananta, Harikatha ananta. That is what the Vaishnavas sing, right? Hari ananta, Harikatha ananta. And Hari himself is infinite, and his stories are infinite. So therefore here he says that if Harikatha is ananta, I have only limited time. Why I have limited time? Because you have got to go and fight. So let me do only the main points, salient points. Rest, you can think about it yourself. And unfortunately, Arjuna did not do any thinking. He didn't get any time to think also. So therefore, He still remained in that confusion that we were talking about. So here he's saying, I will not, nastyanto na asti antaha vistarasya, detailed, extensive, to do it in an extensive manner. I don't have the time. It is impossible. Why? Because your human body will go. There is not enough time for me to complete. It will take lifetimes for us to understand the glories of the divine. So therefore, in this body, even I don't have the time and you don't have the time. Yes, please.
It'll take lifetimes to state the glories of the Lord, but it won't take lifetimes to understand the glories of the Lord.
That is a fraction of a second, no?
Yeah.
That is a fraction of a second. You see, but the point is that until the understanding happens, that realization will not happen. So there is this, and for that realization, even scripture is also not necessary. It is only necessary when but the normal direct appreciation of what we are in is not happening. That is then where we need to go to the scripture, understand the scripture, and so on and so forth. So I always use this example saying that, look, if we see, Krishna said, no, in the earlier verses, that people run after the material world because getting results in the material world is very easy. Getting results in the spiritual world is not easy. And in the just a previous session also, I used the same analogy that if it is compared in terms of quantity, the spiritual learning as compared to the material learning is only one small droplet as far as this entire ocean is concerned. But to examine that droplet, you need a microscope. So what is the microscope? Scripture is the microscope. Guru is the microscope. Right? So you need the guru, you need the microscripture, and then he tells you how to see, how to adjust for your eyesight. See, every microscope, every time you see it, and with the left eye, right eye also, you will have to keep adjusting. Same way, we have to understand the scripture for ourselves. There is no one standard. Even with the microscope, there is no one standard. The microscope is the same. The droplet is the same. Right? Parthoda, you keep asking, why is there so much confusion? Because our eyes are different. Even with your own two eyes, you will see some things different, isn't it? So, therefore, to cater to all those individualities, you need the guru, and he therefore explains this, and therefore you see the two different, you see the spiritual life, you see the spiritual world. Yes, please.
Sir, thank you for telling us the meaning of the Mahanyasa. I mean, in all the jabas we do now is that nyasam is done. I never understood why we do it. Yes, Mahanyasam, we got so much nyasam there. Every single part of your body you identify in the process. Nobody ever told me why we do it, but it makes so much sense. You have to become Shiva to propitiate Shiva and understand Shiva. So beautiful.
So for that matter, actually, in Tantra Sadhana, when we do Devi Sadhana, there are 11 different nyasas. There is a Rishi Nyasa, establishing the Rishis into your body. Then there is the Akshara Nyasa. All the 64 Aksharas, the vowels and the consonants, they have to be established because she is Akshara. She is in the form of Akshara, Prakriti. Then there is Devi Nyasa. Then there is Anganyasa, then there is Karanyasa, and then there is Anganyasa. 11 different types of Nyasas are there. Until that Nyasa is perfected and you have completely locked yourself out from this external world, that is the process. Nyasa is the process. Right? And in the Nyasa, what do we do in the Nyasa? We say, such and such is the Rishi, right? And that is the Rishi Nyasa. In the Rishi Nyasa, we actually do like this. Right? You do what is called a Mriga Mudra. And then you hold the Mriga Mudra at the crown of your head, as if his feet, the Rishi's feet, are on your top of your head and you are touching them reverently. But when you do Karanyasa, when you do Anganyasa, you say whatever is the name, right? That whatever mantra you are using, and then you say Shirashe Swaha, right? Why Shirase Swaha? Shirasha is what? The Sahasrara Chakra, the crown. And when you put a Swaha here, it is to burn out all the internals from here. That is why all these Anganyasa, Karanyasa are done. It is not just a ritual. It has a meaning. Each of these has a meaning. You have to understand the meaning to do. Anyway, we are not doing mantra upasana right now. So, so we will move away. Yes, Parthoda, you had something to say.
Yeah, my contradiction, which I voiced at the last session, still I need some clarification. In 14, we saw Arjuna is telling, whatever you tell me, O Keshava, I hold as true. See, when you say I hold as true, when I have understood, now coming to chapter 10, Arjuna says, I have understood all that you have told me. But I want to know your manifestation. It is like you're telling Gurudev, Gurudev, what you have told me to do, I understand everything. But tell me your glories. And that is what somehow I'm not able to digest. That means, suppose Krishna told Arjuna, I am nothing. I am nothing. I have told, whatever I have told you, do that, practice that. Would not have it been enough? That is my question. That's why I cannot reconcile.
Okay. Let us go back to the 3 types of prashna. What are the 3 types of prashna? The first is called Adhamadikari prashna. Adhamadikari is idle curiosity, right? Why are you wearing yellow pitambar? Why do you have a mora mukut? Why are you carrying a whip in your hand, right? And so on and so forth. All these are idle curiosities. Why did you have 8 wives? Or in some Vaishnava literature, 16,008 wives. So why do you have so many wives? Why did you do Rasa Leela? Etc., etc. Right? Then there is the Madhyamadikari Prashna. The Madhyamadikari Prashna says that I will do it only if you explain. Right? I call this the teenager question. And all the teenagers. Right? समझाओ उसके बाद करेंगे. You have to explain. I will do it. I respect you, so I will do it. But, and there is a big but. That is the Madhyamadikari. Our problem is sometimes we cannot overcome that. We don't have the explanation. So therefore the boy does not do it. And then you get angry at him. Then there is the Uttamadikari Prashna. The Uttamadikari Prashna, what does he do? He says, I understand. Right? I understand. I have practiced. Having practiced, I have now got some more questions. I still have some questions. So please explain even more deeply. That is where he is coming from. He is not coming from a challenge. Right? So, in the earlier shloka, he talked about this, isn't it? In I think verse number 9. What did he say? Machchita madgata prana bodhayanta parasparam. He says that, isn't it? And then he says tushyanti. They are satisfied. He who has got attracted to liquor wants more and more of it. He who has got attracted to the rasagulla wants more and more of it. He who has got attracted to Hari wants more and more of it. So here is this desire to go beyond the limited understanding. What he is understanding, what he is stating to Krishna here is not a challenge. He is saying, I have understood what you have said, but I realize that whatever is my understanding is very limited. And only you from your unlimited standpoint can give me more. So please give. Not as a challenge.
That more is about Lord Krishna is asking. That tell me about your glories. See, you have told us time and again that if you do worship, if you think of the Lord, that is not going to help you. You have to practice it yourself. Japa, japa, japa. You have been telling, correct? Now
Yes.
the question comes to the mind, which one is important? Singing of the glory of the Lord, knowing about the glory of the Lord, or doing it yourself, practice it in your life, or both? Now I understand you are talking of both.
Number one. Number two, how can I sing the glories of the Lord if I don't understand him? And if I don't understand him, how do I understand? What do I understand of him? See, every name in Sanskrit. Every name is actually not a name. There is no Sanjaya. It is actually a Visheshana. Right? It is also always a Visheshana. What does it mean? For example, the name for Ramachandra, one of the names of Ramachandra, Raghava. What is Raghava? It's an adjective. It's an adjective because it says, he who was born in the Kula of Raghu is called Raghava. Right? The name Partha. He who is born out of Pritha is called Partha. Or another meaning, he who is of the element of Prithvi is called Partha. Your full name, Partha Sarathi. It's an adjective. He who is the driver of Partha. Right? Adjectives. What are these adjectives? They are all adjectives that help us to understand something better, isn't it? If I tell you, Samir is sitting, now you will say, which of them is Samir? Then you will need adjectives. Correct? You will say, okay, he is wearing a maroon t-shirt, or he has a white beard, or he's wearing glasses, he's sitting next to somebody. Right? Such descriptions allow us to understand and identify. In Brahma Sutra, we said, he explained, isn't it, through the Lakshanas, where he was talking about Kakavat Devadatta Griha. Kakavat Devadatta Griha. The house on which the crow is sitting is Devadatta's house. But unless that identifier is not there, I cannot understand. Unless I cannot understand, if I cannot understand, I cannot sing the glory. And singing glory is japa. Singing glory is putting the mind over there. Right? Yes, Raghuji, your hand was up.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out one thing. Again, for the Manan for this class, I read through all the questions of Arjuna. And that 14, I did not get the feeling that he understood what Krishna has said. He said, I accept it as the truth. That doesn't mean he fully understands. I get the feeling with these questions, he has now come to the point at the limit of his understanding. Now he realizes that the Parabrahman is something that actually goes beyond logic. Now he's really asking, okay, now I'm faced with this entity that is unknowable, unseeable, unsensible. Well, let me ask the person who is clearly manifesting this entity. I'm also it. He tells me I'm it. I don't get that feeling that I'm it. But he seems to know it. So why don't I ask him, can you tell me the glory? When you say the glories, I think here again, our entire history of incorrect translations comes to play here. Okay. We are not, it's not glory as you say, a king is glory, as you know. It is actually, he's asking, give me what is it that identifies this entity, Parabrahman? That's what is, it's translated as glories. But I basically believe it is the salient features.
I think, Samir, I will add to one thing, sorry, to just make myself clear that we are all Arjunas, correct?
Yes.
We are all Arjunas. We don't want to do act, we want the result. And like that, the whole Bhagavad Gita, what we have seen. Now, as Arjuna, suppose my whole life goes without inquiring about who is Krishna. But my whole life goes into understanding his message and applying it in my life, whether that is enough or not. I don't understand about Krishna. I don't know his glories. I don't attempt to know. Now I only go by what he says. So far, Krishna has gone on telling Arjuna, and in 14, Arjuna is telling, I hold as true. See, how can I tell you, Samir, what you are telling me I hold as true unless I know between true and false?
No,
is
no, no,
just
no, no,
not
no,
a
no.
statement?
Sir, let me stop. Yes, it is a statement.
Yeah.
It is only a statement.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why.
Hmm.
In the years that I had the great fortune to be with at Gurudev's feet, he would say, "Did you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning?" Oh, why should I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning? Why should I have to go and wash my feet, wash my face, and sit down and do japa? I don't get it. I don't understand it. I am ready to read your book and understand it, and I'm ready to do whatever your book has said. And your book is going to tell me, do this, do this, do this, do this, and those things I will do. But in living with you and going beyond that book, you are telling me I have to sit down and do japa so that my mind is completely calm. Why do I have to do it? You don't. That's your choice. But if you want to go beyond the book, you have to follow. Now here, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Please listen to my words very carefully. But because of my love and my respect and my immense awe and my worshipful attitude towards Gurudev, I accept it. And I say, it is not Pratyaksha Pramana. It is not Shastra Pramana. But Apta Pramana has been taken as true. Shabda Pramana coming from the Guru has been taken as true, and I just do it. In the Gita also, he says, Abhyasena tu kaunteya, which came before, not Vairagya. What came first? Abhyasa came first. The order of the words itself tells us what is to come first. First, do Abhyasa. So to do Abhyasa, you just have to follow the instructions, not necessarily understanding them. Not necessarily understanding them. Understanding is something that will happen inside you, not from an external source, right? At least on the spiritual path. So in the material path, the Bhagavad Gita is a textbook for material life also. And you don't want to accept Krishna, you don't want to accept anything that is spiritual in this entire thing, perfectly all right. Do your life, lead your life according to chapter 2, verse number 47. Lead your life according to chapter 2, verse number 50. Lead your life according to the chapter 4, verse 24. And say that everything that I do is for the benefit of the world. Right? Live your life with saying that only yagya rishtha is what I will eat, which means after having distributed to others, I will, whatever remains, I will live with that and be satisfied with that. Perfectly all right. You are going to lead a very happy and nice and contented life. Will you overcome the distress or the duality that sorrow and joy, sorrow and joy, sorrow and joy keep causing? No, you won't. If your aim is that, then you need to go to Krishna. Then you need to get to Krishna. Then Krishna is the only answer. And which is why I kept saying, isn't it, that chapter 10 is a beautiful bridge where it says that up to now you have been understanding how to live in this world. Now you want to get beyond the world, start looking. Start understanding. And who better than me to explain this to you? Because I have understood it. I have gone to Goa, so now I'm telling you how Goa looks. You have read about Goa. Right? Only words. No pictures you have seen. So if I tell you the same thing as an elephant, isn't it? Eyes closed, we are all looking for the elephant. But this is this guy who has got both his eyes open. We are all blind. And we have seen the rope, we have seen the we have seen the rope, we have seen the chain, we have seen the pillar. But we have not seen, we have seen a wall, but we have not seen the elephant. Here is one person who has seen the elephant. And he's describing the elephant. That is what chapter 10 is. So here he goes and he starts off. He says, fine, I will tell you, but I will tell you the salient features. But let me explain. Aham atma gudakesha. Aham atma gudakesha. Sarvabhuta shayastitaha. Sarvabhuta shayastitaha. Aham atma gudakesha. Sarvabhuta shayastitaha. Aham adishcha madhyam cha. Aham adishcha madhyam cha. Bhutanamanta eva cha. Bhutanamanta eva cha. Aham adishcha madhyam cha. Bhutanamanta eva cha. Aham atma gudakesha. Sarvabhuta shayastitaha. aham adishcha madhyam cha bhutanamanta eva cha. I am Atman. Aham Atma. Direct statement from the Vedas. I am Atma Brahma. Prajnanam Atman. Right? Direct Mahavakya coming from the Upanishad. I am the Atman. He starts at the largest cosmological entity that he can think of. He knows very well that he has already said this and that Arjuna has not understood it. But like all our scriptures, you will see that the essence of that entire scripture is in the first one or two lines. Right? In the first essence of those two lines, the entire scripture is there. Even in the Bhagavad Gita, look at the first two lines that are uttered by Krishna. In those two lines or two verses, he has completed the entire learning of the Bhagavad Gita. Rest of it is an exposition of that. Same way, he starts with the largest concept. Same thing happened even in day-to-day living. Bhagavan Shankaracharya came, explained Advaita Vedanta, highest level of knowledge. We didn't understand it, got diluted. Vishishtadvaita didn't understand it, even got further diluted. Dvaita even didn't understand it, Dvaita Advaita, and so on and so forth. Right? So you start at the top. And if you have understood the top, then you don't need to bother with that rest of it. That's the approach. Why? Because our Rishis understood life is short. Get it fast. Move fast. Get it fast. If Shravanam works, you don't need Mananan. Right? Swami Brahmananda. So when Swami Vivekananda and they had already set up the Belur Mutt and the Belur monastery, the temple had not been built. The temple was built after Swamiji took Samadhi. So the remains used to be in a temple, small temple. Sri Thakur's remains, asthis were kept over there. And in that meditation hall, all the monks and the brahmacharis were supposed to accumulate at 4 o'clock, at 3:30 in the morning, and they were supposed to sit in meditation till about 7 o'clock. And there would be a bell which would be rung. So Sharat Mukhopadhyay, he was later on then became Sharadananda. He was in charge of ringing the bell. So he would go and ring the bell, and it was a big, gong, and he would go around ringing it. In Bengali, we used to call it Kashor Ghanta. So he would go around doing dhang, 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 and everybody would wake up, and they would go to the place. So Swamiji was there in that period over there, and 2 days in a row, Swami Brahmananda did not go for the meditation. So Swamiji had a conversation with Swami Brahmananda, Rakhal Maharaj, saying that they used to call him Raja. He was king. In his spiritual attainment, he was so high that Swamiji used to say that I am nothing but a particle of what Rakhal is, what Raja. They used to call him Raja Maharaj. So he told him, Ki Raja, you have no need for meditation, but you still need to go because you need to set an example for the others. And when we were with Gurudev, even when he was extremely unwell, he was the one who used to come, there was no bell. He would go and he would knock on the windows. Maharaj, uthiye, uthne ka samay ho gaya. Jap karo. And he said, yaar, ye buddha utha deta hai roz. Right? And he said, if he can wake up and if he in his wheelchair can go around trying to wake us up, and look at the amount of love and affection that he had for us. Why would he otherwise do it? How do I bother? No, but he took on the responsibility. So here, starting at the top, Aham Atma. He says very clearly, Aham Atma. Gudakesha. Gudakesha means he who does not need sleep. Addressing him by saying Gudakesha, he is very clearly telling him, you are the Atman. The Atman never sleeps. But, right? Gudakesha, again, see, it is an adjective. Gudakesha. Right? So he who never sleeps. So aham atma gudakesha sarva bhuta shayasthitaha. Now from that atma, I have now narrowed it down smaller, little smaller, into the individual beings. All pervading consciousness now existing as in all the bhuta, sarva bhuta shayasthitaha, inside all living entities, sarva bhuta shayasthitaha. Then he dilutes it even further. And he says, but these living entities are moving through their identification of their mind, and therefore they understand time. But I am time. I am time. Aham adi, aham madhyam, aham bhutanam. I am the end. I am the beginning. I am the middle. I am the past, and I am the end. Where is time? Time is in the mind. Right? I'm not talking of I'm talking of subjective mind, subjective time, obviously. Your understanding of time comes from your mind. You go to sleep and you wake up. How much time has actually passed for you? Nothing. Zero. Correct? And many times you just feel, abhi to soya. Then you look at the watch and you say, अरे 8 घंटे हो गए, 6 घंटे हो गए, 12 घंटे हो गए. That 12 घंटे did not pass in your mind. It did not. You did not experience 12 घंटे. You are never experiencing time. Understand this. You are only experiencing now. You are not experiencing time as it is. You are experiencing only this moment. But because of our mind, we have the past that we have created. We have the future that we are thinking about. All of that is in your mind. All that is also me. Yes, Raghuji.
Yeah, but even time, there is no objectiveness to it. In fact, it's a very, in theory of relativity, that is the whole point, right?
Yes.
Time is extremely relative.
Yes, of course. I mean, gravity itself also destroys time, right? Space-time continuum is destroyed by gravity. So, and for that matter, now in quantum physics, they have started challenging the absolute number of the speed of light. They have started challenging that also, and saying that that is not the ultimate absolute number. So earlier that was believed to be the absolute number. You cannot cross that, and so on and so forth. We are no longer saying this. So he says, I am time. Aham atma gudakesha sarva bhutashaya sthita aham adishcha madhyam cha bhutanam anta eva cha. Right? Then in 21, he now starts bringing it down to the individual entities that are great. Adityanamaham Vishnu. Adityanamaham Vishnu. Jyotisham Raviramshuman. Jyotisham Raviramshuman. Just give me 1 second, please. So, Adityanam Aham Vishnu. So, he starts with the 12 Adityas. There are lots of theories about all these Adityas and who they are and so on and so forth. First and foremost, let us understand the word Aditya means he who is born from Aditi. Aditi means she who has no duality. Her co-wife, another wife of Kashyapa Muni, was called Diti. Diti means she who is dual. She who has duality. So the children of Diti are called Daityas. They are also Rishiputra. Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha. They are all Rishiputras. Right? And then there are the 12 Adityas, of whom Vishnu is one of them. Vishnu is one of them. These 12 Adityas are also described as the 12 names for the 12 months, the name of the sun for each month. So Bhaskara, Pushan, Bhaga, Mitra, etc., etc., Varuna, all of these are the Adityas. Of them, who is the greatest? Vishnu. Vishnu is the greatest. So I am the Vishnu amongst all the Adityas. Yes, please.
Bit confusing. Is this Vishnu the same as Narayana?
So, no. Here is the Adityas. They are the Adityas. So, we very clearly, he is talking of the Adityas. No, Narayana is not in the picture here. Right? So here he is talking of the 12 Adityas, and of all these 12 Adityas, I am the... Now, how is time measured? See, the linkages have to be followed. You have to understand, when you do Manan, you have to look at these things. So, what did he talk about? He started off with the time. Now, at a larger level, how is time measured? Time is measured through the passage of the sun across the firmament, through 1 year. Samvatsara. Right? From one equinox to another equinox, from one solstice to another solstice, and the movement of the sun. So the entire large component of time. How do we measure time? Through the sun. Then he says, next one, he says, Jyotisham Ravir Amshuman. And of those who shine, I am the Ravi, one of the suns, who is shining in terms of Amshuman, has rays of light, right? You see, which is why if you look at how we worship the sun, you see, the sun in all its glory, we can't tolerate. You can't look at the sun when it's at midday. So therefore, all descriptions of sun that we worship, they are all at the horizon, which is when you can actually look at the sun. And especially when you go to the side of worshipping Shakti, then the description is even before that. It is actually at the time before she rises, before the sun rises, there's the pinkness of the sky, the gentleness of the pinkness of the sky. Now, what is this indicating? The passage of time, right? But it is also individually. Now, next time you see a sunrise, you see the sun, you just look up at some point of time, your mind goes to Vishnu. Your mind goes to Krishna. Your mind goes to chapter 10. And it says, I'm seeing him. That is the intent. The intent is to be in this world, in this life, to be looking around, and every time I see something, my mind moves. So you see something shining. Jyotisham aham Ravi. Correct? Now you see a bulb. What is a bulb? It's a glowing thing. What should your mind do? What glows more than this? Oh, this is a 20-watt bulb, 100-watt bulb. What glows more than a 100-watt bulb? A 1,000-watt bulb. What glows more than a 1,000-watt bulb? Oh, the sun. You reach the sun ultimately. And what is the sun? A manifestation of the vibhuti of the Parabrahman. So he is now using the material world. And entirely through the material world, he goes and explains. He started by saying, I am Atman. He's not contradicting himself. Because he has very clearly said that the Maya is also nothing but his powers. Right? My Prakriti Ashtadha. He had already told us that. Then he says, Marichir Marutam Asmi. Marichir Marutam Asmi. Nakshatranam Aham Shashi. Nakshatranam Aham Shashi. Marichir. So Marichi is one of the Maruts. So Marut, there are 49 of them. 49 Maruts. So what I like about this is it allows me to tell you a lot of mythological stories. So, so what happened is, Purandara Indra, he was when in one of his battles with the Daityas, he defeated one of the Daitya kings. And this Daitya king got very upset, and therefore he started going and he started doing tapasya while his wife was pregnant. So his kingdom was left without a ruler at that point of time. So Indra went and conquered the kingdom. And he captured the wife. Having captured the wife, he wanted to chop off her head because she was pregnant. And that man was praying for a son who would defeat Indra. So, but Narad stopped him and said, see, if you kill a woman, and a defenseless woman at that point of time who is pregnant, you will never be Indra again. You will never be able to sit down on that throne. The papa, the hatya, the papa of that particular will plague you so much that you will never be able to sit on that throne. So what should you do? So he said, okay, I'm going to take care of her and make sure that I will take the child when it is born. So, okay, he kept her. Now this child is growing inside. Indra is waiting for an opportunity where she will commit a mistake and he will enter the womb and kill the child. But her rigor of maintaining the tapas of pregnancy was very strong. So she would do all the necessary things, whatever is supposed to be done. On one day, she went to sleep very tired without washing her feet. And that was a break in the entire ritual. Arjuna and Indra entered the womb. And he cut apart this embryo into 7 pieces. But the 7 pieces did not die. The tapas of the father and the rigor of tapasya of the mother kept the embryos alive. So he cut each one of them into 7 more parts. So he cut them into 7 more parts. And yet they were not dying. And they started howling, crying. So he prayed to them and said, Ma Rud. Ma means don't. Rud means cry. Ma Rud. So they said, okay. And since you have prayed to us, we will be your friends. Now Indra is the god of rain, the god of thunder, the god of clouds. But what happens? We see that in Bombay, no? Every time just before it starts raining, what happens? There's a gust of wind that comes. So they are the friends of Indra who carry rain, water, everything. So of these 49, the chieftain of them is Marichi. So I am the chieftain of the Marut. So here he says, Marichir Marutam Asmi, Nakshatranam Aham Shashi. Of the nakshatras, I am Shashi. When Shashi comes into the sky, all the nakshatras become pale. Shashi means moon, right? So Shashi again, adjective, because he has the mark of a rabbit. If you, from our perspective, we see that 2 ears, we can see the rabbit over there. Shashanka, another name. Shasha is a rabbit. So he who bears the mark of a rabbit, Shashi. So of the nakshatras, I am Shashi. When the nakshatras come into the sky, and then I come into the sky, everything pales. My glory is such that everything in this world pales before me. So the next time you see the moon rise, you see the star. You say, oh, this star is so beautiful, but it will become pale when the moon will rise. And the moon is what? The manifestation of the ultimate. So, verse number 22. Vedanam Samavedosmi. Now this is a tough one, okay? Vedanam Samavedosmi. Devanamasmi Vasavaha. Devanamasmi Vasavaha. Vedanam Samavedosmi. Devanamasmi Vasavaha. Indriyanam Manaschasmi. Indriyanam Manaschasmi. Bhutanamasmi Chetana. Bhutanamasmi Chetana. Indriyanam Manaschasmi. bhutanam chetana, vedanam samavedosmi, devanam asmi vasavaha, indriyanam manaschasmi, bhutanam chetana. So, he says, of the Vedas, I am Samaveda. Any reason anybody can think of why is yes?
Samaveda is the one Veda which is sung. The way they chant it, it is a very sing-song fashion, and it includes the attribute of song, which the other Vedas, they have some intonation and all that, but not quite as developed as Samaveda. So I think that is why he calls it the
So you have to
Samaveda.
okay. So let me ask you from a different perspective and say, what is the meaning of Veda? Veda means knowledge, right? Comes from the root word with. So of all knowledges, what is the special knowledge in Samaveda that makes it so special?
Sangeet.
So फिर he should have said Gandharva Veda. Veda Gandharva Veda Asmi. Why did he not say that? He could have said that छंद भी मिलता है, कोई छंद के प्रॉब्लम नहीं है.
सामवेद निरंतरता का प्रतीक है ना.
क्यों?
जब
So
भी
you have to
हम
go back.
खुश होते हैं या कुछ भी.
So okay.
Is it because Sama does it? Okay, sorry.
Please go ahead, Lalita ji.
Is it because it is Sama balanced? It's more balanced that way. Sama like that.
No,
Okay.
no. Go back to the Mahavakyas. Which is the Mahavakya attached to the Samaveda? Tattvamasi, Chandogya Upanishad. See, your journey is 4 Mahavakyas. You are that. What is that? That is the Atma. I am Atma, Brahma. What is the nature of Brahman? What is the nature of Brahma? Prajnanam Brahma. Then, who is Brahman? I am Brahman. The last one, Aham Brahmasmi. It's a journey. 4 of these Mahavakyas is also a journey. Just as Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, 3 methods. No, not 3 methods. It's a journey. If Shravana does not happen, Manana is required. If Manana does not happen, then Nididhyasana is required. Similarly, if you can get it at Samaveda, it's done. The journey starts there. It's the starting point of the journey. So therefore, he says, of the Vedas, I am Sama. In general interpretations, you will get the standard meaning that you all talked about, which is to say, oh, because it is musical. No, that's not true. Because there are large portions of the Rigveda which are equally musical. The Samaveda entirely is musical. But there are large portions of the Rigveda which are also musical. The knowledge portion is taken from the Rigveda into at the Brahmana portion, at least the Brahmana portion, the Samhita portion. These are taken from the Rigveda itself. So therefore, we have to go to the Upanishads, and at the Upanishad level, we see the Mahavakyas. So therefore, he says, of the Vedas, Vedanam Samavedosmi. Next one is easy. Devanam Vasavaha. Vasava is the name for Indra. So of the Devas, I am Indra. I am the ruler. Very simple. This one is not difficult. Now the next one. Indriyanam Manaschasmi. Of the Indriyas, I am the mind. I am the Manas. Why should he say that?
The mind controls the Indra.
Exactly. We have seen that repeatedly. Your Indriyas will only work when the Manas is there. If for that matter, what does the school teacher say? Pay attention. Pay attention means what? Bring your mind here, not your eyes, not your ears, not your nose. There are so many times when I'm possibly watching TV and my mind is somewhere else and I don't know what has happened. So then I ask Savitri, Kya bola? Why did he say that? Can I go back? Right? What happened? Because you're seeing, but you're not seeing. You're seeing, but you're not seeing because your indriyas were controlled by the manas. And similarly, he says, Bhutanam asmi chetana, of all living beings. Bhuta here means indicates of, because we have to look at it contextually. Bhutanam here, of all living beings, I am consciousness. Because without consciousness, you are not living. So if you think of yourself as...
We are always telling, I am not the body, I am not the mind. But Krishna is mind.
No, yeah, he is mind. He is mind.
Then why do you say I am not the mind? You can
See,
say I am the consciousness.
No, very good. See, what is he doing? He is giving you multiple props. You choose the prop that you mentally associate with. That's all. So different people will have different props, isn't it? Somebody likes Ganesha, somebody likes Devi, somebody likes Shiva, somebody likes... That is why Acharya gave what is called a Shanmata Aikyata. Shanmata, 6 methods. The Shakta, the Vaishnava, the Shaiva, the Saurya, the Ganapatya, the Kaumara. 6 methods. All of these 6 methods, each of them, they take one particular deity as the supreme. Sometimes to the exclusion of the other. I will not worship. There's this beautiful story. We'll end with that story. So there was this, there was a sonar, goldsmith, and very famous goldsmith. I mean, people would go to him and he would make ornaments which would fit the person by only listening to the description of that person. He would not go and measure. So he will not measure the ring, right? If you go for a ring, then they have that multiple thing. No, they will put all the rings and they will check out which ring fits you. And then they will make it according to that, right? Or they will measure the length and so nothing. Now, one Jamindar in that area of Pandharpur, he was not having a child. So he prayed to the Lord of Pandharpur. Oh, Vithala, please give me a child. If you give me a child, I will give you a golden waistband. I will give you a golden waistband. So the child was born. Now, like all parents, the vow was forgotten. Then the child started growing up, and the child grew up to be almost 1 or 2.5 feet, right? And the child grew up to be 2.5 feet. Vithala started coming in the dream and said, my dhoti is slipping. My dhoti, I am unable to wear my dhoti because the waistband is missing. And the Zamindar remembered, oh, now I have to go and get the waistband. But big problem. What is the big problem? This goldsmith from whom I should make this, he hates even the name of Vishnu. So what can I do? So he said, fine, I will do one thing. I will measure my son. My son is almost the same height as the image of Pandharinath. So let me tell him accordingly. So he went there and said, I want a waistband. Said, okay. What is the age of your child? 2.5. Oh, 2.5. Okay, go. I'll make it and come. Then he made the waistband. He came back and he said, no, this is too small. Oh, you must be feeding your child very big, too much. So he has become very fat. So I'll add some more. So he added a little bit more. Again, this man Jamindar went and he put it on Vithala, and it turned out to be almost 6 inches more. So he came back and said, oh, ye to lamba ho gaya hai. तो ये 2-3 बार हुआ, एक बार छोटा होता है, एक बार लंबा होता है, एक बार छोटा होता है, एक बार लंबा होता है। दैट ये ऐसा नहीं चलेगा। तो ये तुम किसके लिए बना रहे? तो बोले ये मेरे बेटे के लिए ही बना रहा हूं। चलो मेरा बेटा को लेके आ। नहीं, मेरा एक रूल है, मेरा एक रूल है, मेरा बेटा को कोई देख नहीं सकता है। आई डोंट अलाउ माई सन टू बी सीन बाय एनीबॉडी, सो यू हैव टू गो एंड ओनली फील हिम बाय योर टच, because he knew, yeah, you cannot take him to the temple. If he takes him to the temple, he will see it is O Vittala, and then he will start throwing a tantrum. He will say, I will not make it for you. So he tied his hands, tied his eyes, took him inside very quietly, and this man, he started feeling the idol, and he's saying, huh? What am I feeling? What am I feeling? Vyagra Charma, Trinetra, Jata, where have you brought me? Zamindar, where have you brought me? I can see my Lord. I can feel my Lord. I can feel the Trishul. I can hear the Damru. And he opened his eyes. And what he saw? Shankha Chakradhari, Pitambaradhari, standing there. There was at one point of time so much division. Oh, this is mine. Advaita went beyond that. It says you don't even have to have an Ishta form. Go beyond. That consciousness which is you in every living being. Bhutanam aham chetana. I am that consciousness that rises. It depends on what you are going to get attached to. Because we are like caterpillars. Unfortunately, each caterpillar, it needs to catch something before it can leave the other. So if I have to leave my Rasagullah, I need a sweeter Rasagullah, isn't it? I need a sweeter Rasagullah. And that sweeter
Wasn't the
Rasagullah.
name of the Saint Narahari Sonar?
Yes. So you will find this story in the stories of Pandharpur, amongst the writings of
Narahari
Tukaram.
Sonar.
Yes, Narahari Sonar. Right. Let us end for today. Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.